time frame. We're on the weekly time frame. The reason we're on the weekly is because we're trying to get a bigger perspective. Okay, we want to take a step back and look at this painting, this portrait. All right, this is a masterpiece. All right, you got to think of this canvas as a masterpiece. All right, just delete this. So starting off on a higher time frame, just reading structure. What I'm going to do is just read the highs and the lows, you guys. All right, so it's USD CAD weekly. You can see starting over here, we have a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and another lower high, you guys. All right, you guys can see we have a lower low, lower low, and this one was actually lower than this one. All right, so we are currently in a downtrend. All right, so in a downtrend, all right, we want to be looking for long-term selling opportunities. All right, there's only three ways the market can move, just keeping it simple. All right, it can either go up, it can go down, or it can go sideways. All right, only three ways. With that being said, there's only two ways to make money. Okay, you can either buy low or you can sell high. All right, so with that being said, we have identified the trend by reading the structure and just using a simple trend line to help us identify this trend. All right, and you guys know the strategy, TKTSC. All right, we started off top down. All right, we managed to have three key levels. You guys know we like to place one right where price is, a zone above price, and a zone below price. Okay, the reason we do this is because if price manages to break through, we know our next potential target, our next key level. All right, but if it manages to bounce, all right, we know where to go next. All right, so we've identified that we're in a downtrend. We have a nice weekly zone, all right, and it's a psychological level. All right, you guys can see just looking at the past, we have multiple wick rejections. Over here, we have previous resistance to support, resistance over here, 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 and here, you guys. All right, so next we were looking for a candlestick reversal formation, and we managed to take off a daily time frame. We got in from these rejection candlesticks. You guys can see where the wicks were pointing. All right, meaning buyers came up, buyers came up, buyers came up, but then sellers came right back down every time. So if we manage to stay below this zone, we can anticipate price coming back down. All right, but if we do manage to break, we will know that previous swing highs, this one, this one, this one, if these are violated, then bulls might be back in this market, you guys. Just keeping it simple. All right, reading the levels, reading the zones, and waiting for our candlesticks to tell us what the market wants to do. All right, by reading the wicks, the sizes, and comparing them with other candlesticks. All right, you guys. So this is USD CAD. I believe we also had some 4-hour divergence. All right, and keep in mind we do have a divergence bootcamp video coming out with the course. All right, so there's definitely going to be some heat, some nuggets being dropped on that. But what divergence is a relative strength. This is a relative strength index. It simply measures volume. All right, and it lets us know if price is either overbought or oversold. All right, but what we mainly use it for is divergence. What is divergence? Divergence is when we have our price chart increasing or decreasing, all right, but the RSI does the opposite. All right, so this signifies divergence. And what does divergence mean? You guys can see how price is getting pumped up, it's getting pushed up. All right, but though the relative strength index is losing value. All right, with that being said, divergence helps us find reversals, fake outs, or continuations. All right, so if, again, price manages to stay below this weekly zone, we can look to hold our selling opportunities. And keep in mind, risk management is key. All right, that's why we always like to measure our risk. All right, personally recommend risking 1 to 3%. All right, and that's which with the account size you guys have. All right, so keep in mind the risk will change depending on either on potential winners or losers. All right, so if you do win, you would have to reassess that risk, and if you lose, you're gonna have to reassess that risk. All right, make sure you're always risking the right amount. All right, and stay true to that number. All right, for at least 20-25 trades to see how it plays out, how the system plays out, how the trader plays out. Okay, you guys, because keep in mind the weakest link to anything is the trader. All right, let me just get a sip of water, but don't want to have this too much psychology in this call. Just want to stick to technicals. All right, and keep in mind there will be some nuggets dropped on the course for you guys. All right, but with that being said, if we manage to stay below this zone, you guys look to hold these positions. All right, so other than that, you guys have any questions regarding USD CAD before we move on to any other pairs? All right, so breaking it down again, we went top down, we found the trend, we found our levels. All right, we found our reversal formations on the daily. All right, and now we're just waiting to see how this plays out. All right, other than that, I want to go over to AUD USD. All right, and we're going to start brand new, fresh charts. All right. All right, so I'm going to start off on the higher time frame, and I'm going to show you guys how I am going to analyze this pair. All right, I'm on the monthly time frame, so there's no need for me to look all the way back here because it's about a month of price action. All right, I want to stay relevant. Just look at the first couple of candlesticks, and what I like to do. All right, just draw a few levels. All right, I like to trap price. I do see we have a nice area here and an area below here. All right, why did I place these zones? All right, you just see some rejection here. Support, we broke through, and now we're testing as resistance. We came up, tapped, and just fell. You guys can see this monthly candlestick, you guys, just mean. All right, engulfed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 8 months. All right, 8 months of price activity. All right, I'm gonna place this zone down here. So you guys know we like to place zones above and below price. All right, so let me go ahead and just scale down to now we are gonna go to the weekly time frame. So you guys can see, just keeping it simple, only added a few levels. All right, but before we go down, we can see we're creating lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And if you guys see here, we did manage to close below this open. All right, so that would be considered another lower high. All right, so market's looking like it's in a downtrend, but on the weekly time frame, we can see it looks like we're consolidating. Why do I say that? Because we're just bouncing, came up, came down, came up. We created this uptrend. All right, we were creating low, higher low, starting from here, higher low, and though we did manage to break this trend, you guys can see we're also making higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, reading structure, reading the swings. All right. Although we managed to break this uptrend, and overall we are in a long-term downtrend, and on the weekly, you guys can see we're consolidating in between these zones. All right, so now reading the candlesticks, all right, we can see we came down awfully slow until we broke this trend line. I believe that's when we really started dropping, right over here. All right, strong weekly closure. All right, brought us to our, I believe, 67 psychological support zone. All right, it's a strong support. We haven't been back here, I believe, since September. All right, guys. So we can see now we had price last week come all the way up and come right back down, ended up closing. All right, this could be a potential Morningstar reversal formation if this next candlestick does end up engulfing this previous candlestick, letting us know that buyers are protecting this zone, all right, that we don't want to break this level. All right, though, if we manage to break, all right, we have to look for our next level. All right, you guys can see, looking in the past, it's kind of no man's land. There's no areas back here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is show you guys how to find this next area. All right, so I'm just gonna measure the top and the bottom to top. All right, I'm gonna place that up there. So this would be the next key level if we end up breaking. And look at that. Look at the accuracy to these zones, you guys. And AUD USD is actually my favorite pair. I just like the way it moves. And if you're making X amount of money with a pair, you know, there's no need to change that. All right, guys. So now I'm gonna do the same thing below. All right. All right, so this could be the next potential zone if we end up breaking, you guys. Obviously, we get 50% will be that first target. And now let's just go ahead and look to see if this is a level. And look at that. Look at that. All right, just well-respected zones. So this is a nice area I'm liking. So if we manage to break, you guys, it's a break or bounce situation. If we manage to break, all right, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. If we break this zone, we can look to sell this down. I believe it's about 300 pips. All right, it's going to be a nice swing, almost 400 pips. All right, you guys know we like to take profits around the 50% mark. All right, you guys want to make sure you guys have these key levels marked correctly because you don't want to be blindsided. All right, what do I mean by that? All right, say we didn't know this was a key level. We didn't know this was a monthly key zone, and we're selling at this level. All right, and it just bounces right off. All right, because you guys know we like to buy at support and sell at resistance. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just draw these zones out using this fib tool. All right, so if we manage to bounce, all right, this would be the 68500 is looking like a juicy target, and I think it was a nice 68500 was a nice monthly zone as well. All right, so scaling down, or before I even do that, I know we didn't mention divergence a second ago. Go ahead and just delete that. So we go ahead and scale down to the daily. So this was all done on the weekly, guys. So I went on the monthly, found 2 key levels, went down to the weekly and added a few more key levels. All right, clean, simple. All right, clean and simple. All right, let me go ahead and copy this because there are zones. All right, and going down to the daily time frame. All right, we did manage to close below previous swing lows right here, but I am seeing potential divergence. All right, so you guys can see prices getting pushed down. So somebody is selling this, someone is pushing this down, but we can see we're gaining strength. All right, so this could be signs of manipulation. All right, so if price manages to stay above this support zone, you guys, all right, obviously we need to wait for a reversal candlestick, lining up our strategy. We went top down, we got our key levels, we identified the trend. All right, are we at support or resistance? Yes, we're at support. Now we need a candlestick reversal formation to let us know what's going to happen next. All right, we are looking bearish with this close, this last daily close. So we like to see if we want to buy potential pin bar, engulfing, morning star, even on the weekly. We wanted to really wait for the weekly, but if we manage to break below this zone, we can look to sell. All right, scaling down to the 4-hour, we can see we're also creating a 4-hour divergence. All right, so getting pushed down, you guys can see starting from here using my cursor, just lining up price with the RSI. All right, you can see it's going up. All right, yeah, so it is looking like it's a W formation, but again, we just need to hold off for more confirmation because if we bought, price can just wick us down and come back. All right, so we want to see what happens. All right, higher time frame saying sellers are in control of this market, but on the daily time frame, we're just consolidating in this zone. All right, does this make sense, you guys? All right, so just using our time frames, reading the candles, finding our levels, and just waiting for price to react. All right, it's all it is. Just finding where the overall trend is very important. All right, and just reading the structure is all what you have to do. All right, what do I mean by reading the structure? Reading the swing highs and the swing lows. So from here to here would be a swing. From A to B would be a swing. A to B would be a swing. So just reading these swings, you guys. You guys can see we did manage to break this trend, this uptrend. All right, so if sellers are in control, they'll definitely break this level. But let's see. I would say setting itself up, not letting that be. We still have yet to get that formation. So let's see even a weekly close would be nice for the daily close. So you can see the patience time and letting these pairs set up and just putting it on. Just time for pairs to set up, get to that entry, and it takes time for them to play out. Literally a waiting game. Sometimes at least 7 days just for the pair to move alone. All right, so just keep that in mind. But once we have the overall perspective in line, we can look to scale down and potentially scalp, whatever your strategy is. All right, so we can have like a potential swing and going in for intraday moves. All right, so that's it for AU. I want to go ahead and move on to Euro JPY. All right, so you guys know fresh charts. Starting off on the higher time frame. All right, again, we just want to stay relevant okay? Meaning just looking at the first couple of candlesticks, I see a nice support down here, and I'm seeing how we rejected around this area here. And you guys keep in mind, we did manage to sell around this wick. We had a nice sniper entry, all right, going down to the weekly. So it's kind of hard to identify. It's when it's not really clear, all right, you just want to be able to, you can scale down, all right? Just keep that in mind, all right? And when you scale down, you can always adjust your levels as well, all right? Beautiful. So you just look at these zones, guys. Just look how well respected. Bounce, 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 bounce. And this zone right here, it's only one touch. But if we were to look in the past, you guys can see we have resistance, break, retest, and we took off from this zone right here. I bet it was a 61 fib retracement, took off. All right. So looking at price now, all right, doing the same exact thing. All right, we got our levels. All right, we start off on a higher time frame, and let me make sure these are zones. Let me make sure they're zones. All right, beautiful. All right, let me copy and paste that, you guys. Okay, so now we have our zones. Now let's see if we can identify where the trend is going. All right, looking from the past, we can see starting from here, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Price came up. It did hit the line, but you guys can see managed to close below this previous high. All right, and just reject with a, I believe this is a pin bar rejection. If we zoom in a little bit, we can see it more. All right, and even just reading the weekly now, all right, you can see we did manage to have a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. All right, but though, let me go ahead and just get this over here. We also had a higher high, higher high, higher high. Okay, but you guys can see we failed to make a higher high here. All right, so using my trend line, I believe we also broke this first initial trend. And if we want to scale down a little bit more, we will be able to see it. All right, but let me add one more level in this zone in the middle. I'm really liking this zone right here. All right, you can see we have previous resistance, resistance, strong break above even our moving average. I'm just using one moving average, 21 red. I personally like to keep my charts clean. Sometimes I'll even take the moving average off. Really like just looking at price action, price structure, key levels, zones. All right, and just waiting to see how they react up. Without further ado, you can see this looks like a nice midway point between these zones. Go ahead and just fix this color. All right, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so again, last thing we were looking at the highs and the lows. All right, so we can see we're creating higher, higher low, higher low, higher low. But you guys look at this. All right, we broke through this previous higher low. All right, strong reversal formation. This would be called an evening star formation. All right, we have the strong impulse up, the indecision candlestick, and the engulfing, that bearish candlestick. All right, which has to engulf, all right, 50% or more of the initial, the first candlestick. All right, and I believe this was also a third touch of this trend line where we sold this. All right, so, and we're looking like we're breaking here. All right, so if we end up breaking this low, these lows here, you guys, if we clear these lows, all right, then this would signify that bears are in control of the market. All right, just reading the structure, reading the zones, reading the levels. All right, last weekly close, strong pin bar rejection below our moving average. All right, so scaling down to the daily, you guys, scaling down to the daily, we are looking like we're creating a head and shoulders formation. Strong impulse flag, all right, potential impulse. And I believe this tapped the 50% Fibonacci from this swing here to this swing here, right around that 50, 38 region right here. All right, so still reading the lows, okay, on the daily time frame now. All right, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. All right, we failed to make a higher high. All right, came strong impulse down. We managed to clear these lows, previous swing lows. So if we manage to break these lows here, you guys, all right, we can look to sell this back down. All right, so this is what I'm actually waiting for. All right, if like 119,750. 20. I don't like that level. But. All right, so I'm liking this 119,750 quarterly psychological zone, the round numbers, you guys, the round numbers. All right, why do we look at round numbers? Because keep in mind, institutions that trade on a higher time frame, when they're on a higher time frame, they don't see these small numbers. So they're setting orders, stop losses on round numbers. 14000, 36000000000000. You guys can see. All right, so this is why psychological levels are well respected. All right, so if we break the zone, bounce or break situation, all right, clear these lows, all right, we can see this coming down. All right, you guys, does this make sense? Just reading the levels, reading the zones, seeing how price reacts, and just waiting for this potential opportunity. All right, so we'll love to see a break, retest, continuation. But if we manage to stay above this zone, all right, we still have yet to clear these lows or these lows. All right, so if we stay above here, all right, we could potentially look for buying opportunities, though we would need to see some sort of a reversal formation. All right, daily candlestick closure, potential pin bar, morning stars, whatever it may be. All right, and then just scaling down even further, because once we have that overall perspective, all right, once we know what the market wants to do, all right, we know what positions we're looking to place. All right, I hope that makes sense. All right, and that's why you want to be looking at the higher time frame perspective. All right, because it's almost like just taking a step back and seeing the overall picture. All right, so this is Euro JPY. GU, the last pair I'm potentially looking at. Like always, fresh charts. All right, so starting off a higher time frame, like always. No need to look in the past, just making just two zones here, and would you look at that? All right. So let me go ahead and make these zones, these levels, but I can always just scale down and refine them. What do I mean by refine? Just adjusting them to make sure I get as many touches as I can. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go down to the weekly. Okay, I think I like where they are at now, like and how it's well respected here. But without further ado, let me go ahead and just do the same exact thing. Get these levels in these zones. All right, and now higher time frame, we got our key levels. All right, now we are looking for the trend. Okay, trends, trend lines, and channels. All right, so starting from the bottom, you see we're creating higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and then the last week you guys can see the strong engulfing candle. All right, let's see, starting from here, higher high, higher high, higher high, but wait, we failed to make a new high. We broke through this old low. All right, so it's looking like bears are trying to gain control of this market. We add some key levels, right? Because we had some previous resistance here. We managed to break through. All right, we retested a couple times, and we actually even bought. You guys, we were looking for buying positions off this zone. All right, but we managed to break through and violate. You guys see, we're now testing this moving average on the weekly, and we're testing it on the monthly. All right, so these lows have yet to get cleared. All right, so we have a couple options. Just marking these zones. All right, marking these zones. All right, beautiful. So strong weekly engulfing managed to engulf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of price action. We managed to break back through this consolidated region here. beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so if price manages to stay below this zone, all right, we can look to sell it back down to these swing lows. All right, if price manages to break this swing low, all right, we can look to sell it even further. But again, we are still creating higher lows, though we managed to make new or form lower highs, and we did violate this previous higher low right here. Okay, higher low, higher low, higher low. We broke through. All right, so scaling down to the daily. Let me go ahead and adjust this trend line. I believe we bought from right over here. There we go. You guys can see how we violated this trend line. You guys violated this trend line. All right, so we'd like to see how you guys can see how we're back in this consolidation. All right, so what we'd like to see is a potential retest of this zone, and we're looking to sell this back down. Okay, hope this makes sense, you guys. Just reading the levels, reading the zones, reading the structures. All right, and waiting for this opportunity. All right, you guys can see we had that daily close. All right, some follow through. So let's see if we get a pullback. All right, you guys. So 4-hour time frame. There we go. See if we can come back into these zones. All right, so this is my bias on these pairs, but keep in mind, you guys, at the end of the day, anything can happen. All right, because it only takes one person to do it. All right, that's why risk management is always key, and we're always risking 3%. But by looking on the higher time frames and using our strategy, all right, we're building a case and stacking a high probability trade in our favor. All right, so the higher the time frame, the higher probability price is going to play out. All right, so other than that, did you guys have any questions for me? Were you guys confused on anything? Or do you guys have any pairs that you guys are looking at? Other than that, just going to end it in the call and just monitor these pairs. All right, so I'm seeing EJ and GU setting themselves up. AU might need a little more time. UCAD, we're in, we're holding, and we are waiting. All right. Let's see if we got any questions. Jason says, thank you. Everyone looks like they're good. Other than that, you guys, just gonna have this call sent to the chat. And if you guys have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We're here for you, or schedule a one-on-one at your earliest convenience. But other than that, much peace, much love, much abundance. Chart addicts, we are